King Charles confronted by another reminder of angry protester as he continues with tour. As King Charles sought to move on from yesterday's verbal attack at Parliament House, he was dealt another reminder of the protest as he kicked off his penultimate day in Australia. Arriving at the National Centre for Indigenous Excellence in Sydney, he was greeted by Elder Allan Murray from the Metropolitan local Aboriginal Land Council, who alluded to Lidia Thorpe's controversial outburst on Monday. He said, "Welcome to country. We've got stories to tell, and I think you witnessed that story yesterday in Canberra, but the story is unwavering and we've got a long way to achieve what we want to achieve, and that's our own sovereignty. But welcome to Gadigal land." Charles, 75, nodded as Allan spoke. Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. Welcoming him to the centre, the elder added, "We are proud sovereign people." Another pulled out a lighter to start the smoking ceremony. The king said, "I was out in the bush in Victoria in 1966 trying to get the fire going. Was a problem because we didn't have one of those." He wafted the smoke, which signifies a welcome to Indigenous land, and gathered around the outdoor fire pit with members of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. In the sports hall, the king was impressed with a dance performance from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander performers. Greeting the dancers afterwards, he said tried jumping the air himself and said, "That looked like a good exercise. I don't think I can still do it at my age." He also spoke to Gomet Rangers and members of the Inner City Empowered Communities Group, which provides services to the local First Nations communities in Sydney. Before heading to Parramatta for a community barbecue, the king spoke privately with a number of First Nations elders. King Charles takes cautious pace in Australia amid concerns over cancer, analysis by Cameron Walker. When King Charles arrived at a church in northern Sydney this morning in an extra-large motorcade with an emergency ambulance on standby, the energy from the crowd of well-wishers appeared to lift the monarch's spirits. His Majesty smiled and waved to hundreds of patriotic Australians, and spent a good chunk of time meeting many of them outside St. Thomas Anglican Church following the Sunday morning service. King Charles, 75, looked full of energy, having spent a day resting in Sydney's Admiralty House, which I'm told was planned to keep up his stamina to endure long days of official engagements. On Saturday, the royal couple was spotted relaxing in the grounds, which overlooks the Sydney Opera House, taking a gentle stroll. Both Charles and Camilla are known for their love of walking. But spending time on the ground observing His Majesty down under, there are subtle signs his health issues have followed him. The king arrived at the church service around 10:30 a.m. local time, but his final engagement appeared to be over by lunchtime, unless there are some unannounced visits or work that His Majesty was busying himself with this afternoon. The lighter workload suggests he could still be taking it as easy as possible to avoid damaging his cancer recovery. Royal doctors have allowed him to pause his cancer treatment while he is touring New South Wales and Canberra, but the workaholic king is understood to have been urged not to push himself too far. Monday's final two engagements, private audiences with Australia's Governor-General, Sam Mostyn, and the Governor of New South Wales, Margaret Beazley, took place in the very residence he is staying in Australia. In other words, not a long commute to the drawing room. However, the king had enough energy to deliver an informal, but powerful, speech to the New South Wales Parliament House earlier today, which is celebrating the bicentenary of its Legislative Council. The king said, "What a great joy it is to come to Australia for the first time as sovereign, and to renew a love of this country and its people which I have cherished for so long." Despite his health battles, the king clearly has a deep affection for the country where he reigns as head of state and wanted to come here in person to immerse himself in different communities. Busier days lie ahead on this royal tour, and it appears His Majesty is walking before he starts running. Perhaps the king is familiar with the fable The Tortoise and the Hare, and its famous moral, slow and steady wins the race. King Charles' unconventional hobby he shares with Kate Middleton. King Charles is renowned for his love of the outdoors. From championing sustainability to painting picturesque landscapes and crafting award-winning gardens, the monarch has a long-standing fascination with nature. Charles's private residence, Highgrove House, is home to a kaleidoscopic wildflower meadow teeming with 120 different plant species and 30 beehives. The bees produce a royal garden honey that can be purchased from the Highgrove Gardens website. The monarch also has treasured beehives at Clarence House and Buckingham Palace. According to The Independent, each hive contains an estimated 20,000 bees. The royal mother of three brought a jar of honey from the hives for schoolchildren to sample during a visit to the Natural History Museum's Biodiversity Hub in June 2021. In honor of World Bee Day last year, Kate surprised fans with a rare snapshot of herself rocking a full beekeeping suit and Wellington boots. The picture showed a beaming Kate carefully tending to a hive frame teeming with bees. At the time, she wrote, "We are buzzing about #World Bee Day. Bees are a vital part of our ecosystem, and today is a great opportunity to raise awareness of the essential role bees and other pollinators play in keeping people and the planet healthy." Queen Camilla is also a keen apiarist. Her Majesty produces her own honey at her Wiltshire home, Raymill House, which is then sold at Fortnum and Mason to raise money for charity. In 2020, the royal became president of Bees for Development, a charity that reduces poverty and improves biodiversity in over 50 countries around the world through training beekeepers, creating a network of resources, and protecting bee habits. Meanwhile, during a visit to Launceston, Cornwall, in 2022, Camilla met honey producers and told them she was a hands-on beekeeper and had only lost one colony during the previous winter. Kate's brother James loves nothing more than tending to his bees. The father of one was given his first beehives by his parents, Michael and Carol Middleton, and sisters Kate and Pippa Matthews. On his 24th birthday, they clubbed together to buy James a beehive, which he later described as the most fantastic birthday gift imaginable. Writing for the Daily Mail in 2020, he said, "On a warm summer's day there are few places on earth I'd rather be than tending my bees. I've been a passionate advocate of these ingenious, industrious little creatures, since I became a beekeeper myself nearly a decade ago, having fallen for them as a child. I now have almost 500,000 bees in 8 hives in a meadow at our family home, Bucklebury Manor in Berkshire." King Charles sends subtitle message to Meghan and Harry, suggesting a possible royal return. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments, and most importantly don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.